I am Taya Skay, and this is part 2 of the interview I did with Rad Commissar from Florida, who runs the Facebook group, The Carnivore Rebels. And we're going to be talking about what happens when the carnivore diet is no longer working, and how do you transition. And we're going to talk about Rad's progress, where he's at today, what he's learned, what he's found useful, and just what advice he has for other carnivores who are struggling on the zero carb or carnivore. So Rad, hello again.
Hello, how are you?
So when we started working in August, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being feel amazing, feel great, 0 is like just feel awful, just something's not working. Where were you at?
Before I was probably at around 3-4. Comparison to now. But to me back then, it seemed like a 7-8.
Interesting. Yes. So we've been working together since August, and you made some changes. It wasn't up and down. It wasn't always a straight line going uphill. So where are you now on a scale of 0 to 10?
Now I'm probably at around 8, I would say.
Excellent. And that's realistic, because being a 10 every day, I would say someone's being delusional, because we have ups and downs and there's always room for improvement. So what was the biggest aha? What was the biggest realization now after doing this?
I think there were a few, but the one that's the most prominent realization was that, that it's not just diet and your psychology and overthinking, which is what I tend to do because I'm so smart. But I do obsess overly, on thoughts, and it's not like OCD or anything. It's just that I like to think a lot. That's what I've been doing since I was a kid, and it's detrimental to my health. It's too much. It's too much, and it definitely gets me into corners that I can't get out of in my brain, in my head. And, because I'm all constantly trying to figure out what's the meaning of life, why are we here, all this kind of stuff that really doesn't have answers as in, logical answers. These things you have to feel as well.
So how did you overcome this pattern?
Well, I took a hair test. I worked with you, and I fixed my diet, and I also stopped, I relaxed. I gave myself an okay to just enjoy life more and come at it from the heart and not so much from the brain.
Perfect. And, what I'm seeing, natural pattern, is that people want to get the diet, nutrition, supplements perfect so they can get on with other areas of their life. So they kind of get on with their personal development, career, whatever. And the way I approach nutrition is that it's nutrition for development. Whatever we're doing, whether it's the breathing, the testing, the diet, it is making you bigger than the problem that you have, so that you're developing beyond the problem. And so there's an element of development in the hemo analysis, because if you do not change the pattern, you don't change. You just go back to micromanaging. So halfway through, I found that really clicked with you, that you made that shift. Rather than getting the macros and the micros right, it was more about, let's just let go of the reins. Let's just enjoy carbs. Let's just enjoy more carbs and see what happens. And do you find that was the attitude that kind of helped you to accept where you're at and transition to a better state?
Yeah, absolutely. It allowed me to relax about, myself, and not be so rigid with everything. And it was easy for me to do because my obsession was only in the healing, not in the method. It was definitely not hard for me to do, as you know. I can eat anything, and as a matter of fact, if you tell me to eat carbs, I'm like, okay, great, they taste great, so
Yeah.
And even if I'll go to a restaurant, I'll have something there that's off the menu. And of course, I'll still be smart about what I'm going to order. And I'm not going to stress about it because I know that eventually I'll get back to my, but if I'm with my parents or with friends or, going out, I want to kick it, relax, kick it back and do what I got to do.
Exactly. You want to fit in and you want to know that you can bounce forward. Whatever you have, even if it's a glass of champagne, like I have champagne from time to time, I will never say no to Bolly. I'll say no to Scotch. It's wonderful to know that you're not going to die. You're not going to be sick for 3 days, feeling crashed and brain fogged, that you can bounce forward. I really appreciate that. And that's the goal. And what I'm seeing in Facebook groups and some of the groups that you and I in, is that need to be very strict to the point of zero carb, meat, fat and water, which has been very popular with Sean Baker, Michaela Peterson, and Paul Saladino. And people want what they're having. Like they want that end result. You and I did that. I did that for 6 months. You've been doing that for 3 years and it didn't work well. So why? Why did it not work for us and it worked for them?
I think it's just how far you take it. I think that they overdo it and they are actually fulfilling themselves through the act of limiting of the, it's a fulfilling mechanism in itself. And if some of them are genetically gifted, so they can go on for a long time, but eventually 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as you know, you can run into trouble. And I'm glad that I ran into trouble now, really, because I've heard some bad stories where people lose conscience, fall on the floor, really bad stories, right? I'm glad it never, it was just, I only had kidney stones. Yeah. And that was a sign for me to end it and really reach out somewhere and, get help and really start thinking about a much more balanced diet, which is what I'm doing.
Excellent. So what would you say to the carnivores or the people that want to start a carnivore diet? They've heard about it. It's been popularized. There's books written. There's lean, chiseled carnivores and comparing themselves to the paleo. What would you say to these people?
I'd say take it easy. Well, I definitely say to relax about it, not be so rigid because the answers may not be where you're looking and you might just waste a lot of years of your life going in a direction. And I'd also say that if after about 2-3 months, you're not getting good results, you're not really experiencing everywhere, you might be on the wrong path, and to be a little bit more open-minded about where you're going. Because if you do what I did, which was really stupid for so many years, to stick and hope that, I just need more time, I just need another year. No, that's the wrong attitude, and it can get you'll end up there and you'll end up hurting your body. But only, it's just time. We don't live forever. So that's the problem.
Yes, and you want to enjoy the time, not micromanage it. So what was the biggest transformation? What changed the most for you as a result of us working for 5 months now together?
Okay, so energy, day and night. I don't have to travel with my water bottle anywhere. I'm fully hydrated. I don't even drink water anymore. I don't need it. I'm drinking milk and, it's just, what else? I'm calmer. I'm happier. My gastritis is pretty much gone. I'm, gone finally. And I can do whatever I want. I feel comfortable going somewhere. I felt comfortable moving to Florida, going on a 18-hour drive or however long that was. That was, I was feeling amazing the whole drive. I didn't have any problems. I wasn't nervous about anything because my stomach was fine. All from the diet, On carnivore, I could never get it perfect. I was always struggling. There was still struggles there. So, and my sleep, oh, so incredible now. I still sleep like 4 or 5 hours, not longer than that, but then I'll fall asleep for another 4 or 5 hours. And altogether, I'll get like 8, 9 hours of sleep, sometimes even 10 hours of sleep. That's how good I sleep now. On the carnivore diet, 4 hours, 4.5, that's it. Couldn't sleep more. So, and that was hurting me.
Definitely. And you're no longer hyperventilating. How good is that?
That's also very important because I'm doing the breathing exercises, and that's really helping me quite a bit. But I wish I was even better, with that. And I think with time, it'll, as I keep doing it, I'll get better and better with it.
You can only get better with an open attitude. And because you're still doing the testing, the testing that I've taught you how to do, you can do it on your own. You're going to be empowered. You're not going to be jumping from one protocol to another. You can do your numbers, you can look at them, and you can gauge what I need more of, less of. And what I find is that people are looking for templates. They're looking for a perfect checklist to do the diet like a spreadsheet, like an annual GST tax return or something, supply and demand. And that's the very attitude that gets in the way. I can't tell you how many smart people I've worked with who are very knowledgeable, and they have gaps. They had little gaps in their knowledge, and these little gaps were getting in the way of their full recovery. And I filled those gaps with you.
Yes.
So that you're integrated. So you can pick and choose, and you'll be on protocols. And that's nutrition for development, because we've got to develop. Life is about growing and being better and utilizing your time, getting the most done with the least amount of effort. I think that's what we all want. And I found the carnivore diet is trying too hard. Many people are trying too hard to make it work. And the purpose of this interview is to remind people, whether you're doing low carb, zero carb, or you're thinking of doing it, get a hair test, get some biochemical testing to see if it's actually going to work for you. And be open-minded to chop and change.
Yeah, no one worked as hard as I did. I mean, I was very strict to a point where I wouldn't even drink the water in a restaurant because only drinking distilled water. It was not like, because I really wanted to heal. I mean, we all, right? We all want to feel amazing. And what I did was not really stupid, and I was so strict. I mean, I ate nothing but raw meat and raw fish for 1.5 years, like every day, and I was already to the point where it was like disgusting to me, but I still kept going. Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, I'm really happy for your progress, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be at a 9 out of a 10 in the next 2 months.
I definitely hope so, and thank you so much for helping.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.